All right, make a little video. Just got done at Momentous today, and it was a good day. Our team went 3-0. Very exciting, very good. Really just want to make this video just to dump some thoughts about sports, about life, about coaching, art, all that type of stuff. And I was just lying in my bed last night at the hotel, and I was just really excited for the next day. Just really excited to go to Momentous and coach and watch a bunch of volleyball and just study, just study. I've just always been like that. Just love being interested in something and learning more about it. And man, this primal movement stuff, I really feel like I have this huge calling, which I don't want to say it like that and put all this pressure on myself to like be great or make something big, because I feel like I've had that, I've lived with that for a long time, and sometimes it hurts me more than it helps me. Is this feeling of like duty, this feeling of like obligation, this feeling of like calling. So maybe it's about like separating those definitions, because man, I just feel like every single athlete in that gym, there's probably how many courts? 20 courts, 4 teams per court, 80 teams, 12 kids per team, 12 times 8, 9, like almost 1,000 kids in there, not to mention the parents and the coaches. But almost every single body in that gym is getting sucked into the front chain and collapsing through the feet, collapsing through the ankles, loading the front side of the body in ways that is not the most healthy and not the most efficient. Which, one thing that I'm dealing with right now is finding a way to talk about this and think about this with empathy, because I can get so fixated on like just looking at the pattern of movement that I like don't even see the person there, which I know it sounds maybe kind of messed up, but that's just how my brain works. I get super fixated. But all that to say, like, I feel like I can really help people in a big way, because let's put aside just wanting to make more digs or score more points or serve better or block better or pass better. Hey, let's put aside all of that. We all get our one body, our one physical vessel during our time on this earth, and we should do our best to take care of that body. And the challenge is that there is not a good enough education on how to actually take care of our bodies. And that's the niche that I want to fill. Because when I'm at Momentous, I just see so much potential in my team and all of these teams that are playing, because a lot of these girls, they got a lot of good stuff going for them. They can get to the ball. They can hustle. They're diving. They're hitting the floor. They're jumping. But the key that almost every athlete is missing, that in my perspective, from what I've seen, is that we do not know how to actually load the body properly, connect the body from the toes, up the ankles, up the back side of the body, the calves, hamstring, glutes, lats, back, neck, head. For an athlete to be able to perform optimally, there needs to be a very there needs to be a very tight, maybe that's not the right word, there needs to be a very sound connection in the fascia that runs up from the plantar fascia all the way up the backside of the body, through the core. And a lot of us, we just lose the ability to drive from the backside of the body. Instead of loading our hips and our glutes and having a primal, powerful posture that's gonna serve the way we stand, walk, run, hit, throw, pass, dig, jump, block, land. We got to be able to serve that in the best way we can. Load the backside of the body properly. Keep the foot intact. Don't let the foot collapse. Don't let the knee collapse. And these behaviors are trainable. And these behaviors are actually more natural than what we see in the average youth athlete. And the only reason that we've lost these behaviors is, for the most part, modern comforts. So shoes, thick cushion shoes, which there is a time and place for. I believe they serve us when we're on the court. But the issue is that we rely on them as a crutch when we're not playing our sport. And we sit in chairs too much. We don't move enough, and we don't move in ways that are actually going to serve us in the best way possible. So there's these little tweaks that you can make in your lifestyle. There are these little tweaks that you can make in your lifestyle. And on top of that, if you understand, if you have an understanding of what the body actually is designed to do, what the body wants to do when it comes to squatting, hinging, getting up and down from the floor, the tissues and the joints of the body are designed to operate in a specific way, a very specific way. And the more that we can adhere to those principles, the more powerful, balanced, and agile that we're going to be on the court. And the thing about it is, let's just take the sport out of the equation. Wouldn't you want your body to be the most capable and the most resilient and the most pain-free that it could possibly be? And I'm not trying to talk about this like I've climbed the top of the mountain and I have no pain. No, my feet are sore, my ankle's got a little bit of stickiness right now. But the point is that I'm on a personal journey of figuring out how that body works. And if there's pain, learning the wisdom from that pain and applying that into my movement practice to make me better. And that is the thing that I'm trying to hit on here, is that no one, and it's a big generalization, I'm sure there's people talking about it, but it's few people that are talking about the fact that the quality of your movement is the most foundational superpower that you have as an athlete. How are you going to be an athlete and not be trying to optimize and understand the quality of our movement, understanding the patterns, understanding the bows and the corners, understanding how the shoulders and the hips and the ankles, how that's all supposed to work together? If you're an athlete, that's got to be the number one thing on your list, in my opinion. Call me crazy. Of course, we have diet. Of course, we have sleep. Of course, we have all these other lifestyle factors that are going to play a really important role in your success as an athlete. But but the quality of your movement pattern, the quality and the flexibility and the strength and the suppleness, and how all of that fits together, and how to connect the body from head to toe. And yes, some athletes, some youth athletes, they're getting into the weight training. And they're lifting dumbbells, and hey, maybe we're putting a barbell on our backs, and maybe we're doing some plyometrics. And I don't mean to come off as a one-size-fits-all dogmatic type of person. And that's the type of coach that I don't want to be. And because I've seen and I feel what that's like when I'm watching other people. And I don't know if that serves us the best, but it needs to be said. It needs to be said that weightlifting should come secondary to a well-connected, well-coordinated body. I get kids that I coach, and you ask them to crawl, right? And here's the thing about crawling. Here's the thing. If a baby crawls or a toddler crawls, they don't have to think about it. And crawling is actually a complex task, because you have your hands, your elbows, your shoulders, and your legs. They all need to be moving in sync. Babies don't need to think about that. They have a natural movement intelligence. And sometimes when I ask my kids to crawl, it takes them a second, more than a second. It takes them 5 seconds, 10 seconds to figure out actually what is my body supposed to be doing right here? What is it supposed to feel like? And some kids will crawl with the same leg, same arm simultaneously, instead of how it should be, which is cross body, opposite arm, opposite leg. So the point is, something as simple as crawling, if an athlete can crawl well or can't crawl well, that will tell us a lot about how that athlete is going to perform. Because if you're a same side crawler, walking, running, jumping, everything is so much harder, because the walk is the crawl. And athletes underestimate the importance of having a really good walk. But you know what I'm talking about when you go into the gym and you notice that athlete that has a super swagged out walk. That's something I always admired when I was young. I was like, why does that person look so good when they're walking? And what I didn't understand then, and that I understand now, is that when a person has a really smooth walk, a really nice pattern, a really nice swagger to their step, that's not just for dramatic effect or for visual. No, that's actually the body functioning at its peak. Because the more I learn, and I'm still young, I'm 27, but the more I learn, the more I realize any craft, and sports especially, it's going to come down to the little things. The people that are playing at the professional level are working on the same things that people who are just started playing are working on. The people who are playing at the professional level, they're working on passing, setting, blocking, hitting, serving. So are the people that just started. But the people at the top are working at the same thing, but in much finer detail. They're working on the super subtleties. So my thesis, my passion is, how can we flip the paradigm in youth sports and make the pyramid, like if we had the food pyramid, which just got inverted, by the way. At the top used to be carbohydrates or rice or something, I'm not sure, but it just got flipped. Now protein's at the top, right? So that's what I want to do with the movement pyramid. At the top, or the sports pyramid, at the top should be the quality of your movement. It should be how symmetrical can you make the body, how connected can you make the body, how much sensation and feeling can you get in your feet and your toes, how connected can you make your foot and ankle complex with your hamstrings, your glutes, your core. And how can we get the body operating on the spiral that it's designed to? Because the thing about movement that is widely misunderstood is that when you look at a movement textbook or like an anatomy textbook, you're gonna see a lot of things that are described in single plane. So you got sagittal plane, frontal plane, and one more. I'm blanking. See, I dropped out of college. I dropped out. Sagittal, frontal. What am I missing? The body, it can't. In the organic world, the body cannot operate on single planes like that. Everything has a torquing quality to it. Everything has a spiraling quality to it. Everything has shape and everything has curve. We don't move like robots on a straight line. So why are we training like robots on a straight line? That's all I'm saying. Hey, if you want to be a power lifter, if you want to jump super high, like, I think there is something to be said for weightlifting. You can snatch and you can deadlift and you can heavy squat. But are you gonna make a kid that doesn't even know how to properly crawl? You gonna make them deadlift and squat and do all this heavy lifting? Why would that be the priority if we can't even crawl? Let's make that internal foundation as great as it can possibly be. Some of the greatest athletes in the world. And for me, I come from a soccer background, so a lot of the best soccer players are small. Lionel Messi or Neymar or Pele, Diego Maradona, all these guys, they're short and they're small, but they didn't get to be the best through weightlifting. Their bodies, they move like animals. They move like cats. They move like dogs. They have that like very fluid quality to the movement. It doesn't come from weightlifting. Yes, you can use weightlifting as a supplement. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Free will. No one's going to stop you. But in my personal opinion, that should not be the first thing a young athlete is focusing on, getting strong in the gym. To me, it doesn't make sense. You can feel free to agree with me or disagree with me. But let's get that crawl right. Let's get that foot right. Let's get that foot really, really strong. Let's get in the back chain. Let's get primal. And let's tap into what the body was designed to do. Let's tap into the way the body was designed to move and rest. And if we can just do that, you're going to have a lot of potential as an athlete. You're going to have a lot of potential. So thanks for hanging out with me today. Hope you enjoyed. This has been your host at Primal Volleyball. My name is Alex Chang. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.